So this panel is on youth development, and our next speaker is Alice Ho. She is the Chief Youth Officer, Global Alliance of Universities on Climate Change. And please welcome Alice to give her speech.
Hi, everyone. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. So, hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm in Asia. I'm in China right now, so it's super late. Just got back from Baku. Um, to be honest, okay, let me just bring out the questions, but I just wanted to share a little bit about the experience
Hi,
this
Alice.
year.
Hi, Alice. Can you turn on your camera?
Oh, hi. Can you not see me? I can see myself.
I see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you. So I heard the other panelist is currently inside the plenary, so I don't think he's gonna make it out. We're very aware of what is happening. Everything is very heated up, so I believe I'm gonna be just mainly talking about my personal experience at COP. So this year is actually a very interesting year because it is completely different from the other two. Uh, when my experience in the first year when I went in Sharm el-Sheikh, I was more in running events, didn't know what was actually happening, and back in those times it was more to how to survive, what is going on. Uh, Being a youth at COP is very uncertain. Didn't know what I was really doing there. Um, so we we moved in, we figured out as the first year as the youth officer for the alliance. This alliance have 15 universities. We have 4 universities in the States, 4 in the UK, and a few in the global south. So we have a university in Africa, one in South America, one in India, one in China. We've also one in Japan and one in Australia. And also one in France. So the main purpose for this alliance is to unite the university level for youth, but also for university young researchers, for professors. So we work on joint research, public engagement, youth education. We also provide training course every year, before summer to autumn period, so before COP, and then we had the training going to COP. So we have around 800 students this year and 900 the year before. A cumulative to around 2,000 students for the 3 years we've been doing it. I've been brought 70 students now, adding on this year to students to COP. 20, 20, and 30 this year. The main role for this alliance is we have climate related course, and then we bring in 4 topics that we think it is the main goal of this year. So this year, for example, we had again climate finance. We used to have climate biodiversity. For the year of Africa, we had adaptation and mitigation. So we also have a global governance as a general course and leadership with partnership with UNITAR and UNESCO. So we have these programs bringing students together, uniting the youth, students from 97 different countries. And then after that, with these training courses, in order for them to receive the qualification, they will need to do local events, local activities. So we are aiming that it's a 1+N model. So every student will affect at least 100 students or 100 people around them. They could go to their local communities. They could work on their local university, go to the students. They could go do workshops. So we've been bringing in this model that they've immersed whatever they've learned, but they're not bringing it into a normal panel or discussion way. It could be bringing in new type of workshops. So one of the really great one that I remember would love to share is that I remember a student from Bangladesh. He brought in a campaign with collecting plastic bottles, and every 3 plastic bottles, they will be able to provide a free meal. And then with the 3 bottles, they're able to find a local waste company to take it in, and every 3 recycled bottle could be made to use, for example, 1 scarf. So they're trying to bring in recycled things, giving incentives for normal citizens, but all in the same time also reusing it and making it to recycled material, the products. So things like that are very important. So sharing this in the main aim and biggest goal is that I think what the youth role is to bring actions and implementation to the table. So this year at COP, we've heard a lot about how they wanted to bring in other parties, NGOs, business partners, normal public. The current biggest heat right now is about the amount of the money that everyone is bringing in, but in the same time, the definition of who is bringing in the fundings. So it used to be developed countries, but now as the first draft is related to bringing the calculation into all the other sectors, plus the bank investments, plus the fundings from like funds and factors. So that's a little bit different from what was agreed at the Paris Agreement. But as a youth, I think what is very key is to actually, as there's already limited fundings, make better use of the fundings and make better use of what you're actually using the funding for, like making sure that as a youth you could try to with the development of AI and with all the development of current COPs, youth is a very important role to make sure your country is doing the correct thing, making sure that they are using the funds in the right way, making sure that they're using the funds to actually support what is needed, but not on like research or implementations that are not very crucial. So things like that are things that we should be aware of and to do. Um, and I think one other thing that is very important that I think people should do as a youth at COP is this is actually the stage to showcasing what you've done for the past year. So what I've learned from the COP schedule is usually it's at November, December, we showcase what we've been done for the full year. We share our experience of the year's success. In the same time, we also talk to other youth or other people sharing our success, hoping to find new opportunities for the next year. So usually now we're back to our country. December to February will be time to revise what we've done for the year and actually try to make sure we are like preparing the fundings for next year's, requesting fundings, preparing the ideas, bring in the proposals. More like we would be starting to do actual preparation work with what we've confirmed and talk to partners around March to May. And then things will be implementing June to August, application for students or bringing down things to do. And then a lot of programs will happen in September to December. But also, I have also things planning ahead for maybe visiting very unique places for research, such as North or South Pole. So I just think a very important thing is actually to spend the time to do things, implement it. As now the fundings are very short, youth could take on a very strong role to implement things that are actually important, but also bringing in the right people and the right circle. So universities are a big connector between NGOs and business, but in the same time also youth and the future role of green jobs. So I personally think these are like some of the points that I've learned this year at COP29. So I've also talked about my perspectives. Okay. Yeah, so what I should expect for COP30 is that With the current situation, funds are low. Uh, Spoke to friends at from Brazil, wasn't really sure what's gonna happen with Bellum yet. Heard that we might be living on cruises. Um, One thing that I would like to point out from COP is that COP is an amazing platform for people to connect, especially it brings in all the international voices, but in the same time, it's also very carbon um, large producing because in order to bring in a new event and a new city, you always need to build the stadium, you will need to build enough living accommodations for people who are visiting. Last year there was 80,000 people at Dubai. I wasn't sure this year, but I'm sure there's more than enough. Um, and a lot of the logistics were provided really last minute. So hopefully in the future there could be better things done as the logistical part. Um, and we could be living in like houses that are not super new with all the paint smells and maybe chemical reactions that are unsafe for our body. But for next year, it will be a very big year. We should expect a well and positive outcome for next year. It's the 10-year anniversary for the Paris Agreement. I've been working on also on the event that is related to the Friends Agreements closed door event, and it's a very important event that brings in all the high level writers back in the days who discussed for the Paris Agreement, and they continue to discuss every year and bring in important factors for the UNFCCC discussions and also the also the host country. But they've been discussions for the COP30, so I think things for COP30 is actually more positive. Um, and I'm sure next year there will be a lot of events already going ahead of time. I think for next year will be a great year, but for this year, hopefully within a few hours, there could be a positive outcome too. And for COP30, I think it will be a lot bigger, so I probably prepare more energy to have more walking. I heard things would be in different islands. Very interested to know more how it would work. I'm sure it's also a way to support the development of Belém, and also learning about the Amazon forest. And actually, there are already initiatives that if people here are interested to learn that there are going to be a group of people going to be traveling from upper coast of of in Brazil, and they will be taking a whole month to get there. Like they're going to take the boat and sail, I think, for maybe 10-15 days to get to Belém. And then there will be local workshops with indigenous people. So there's so many of these interesting initiatives that I think if you're a student, if you're a youth, try to join it, try to make friends from it, learn about the scope and learn about what you personally are interested and you could do regardless in this green jobs or green skills future. Um, Also, with all the new data, big data, AI development, there are a lot of things that could be implemented into into this industry. And also, so people who are into coding, who are super smart, want to be an entrepreneur, could also look into future AI apps that supports green development, including calculations for carbon credits. The carbon market part is well discussed this year, and hopefully within a couple of years, it could be a global market develop. Um, so, so we should expect that green financing is happening. Every country will need more smart ways of accumulating. Oh, well, how was the carbon credit made, or how was the fundings provided? Like we want a more clean, clear visible data as a youth, and as a youth to share among the countries. So there's a lot of things youth could be doing, and I hope that our generations of youth could be could be supportive on that. Just wondering the host for the event today if there's anything that you guys want me to cover more, or if any questions I could answer.
Great. Thank you, Alice. Yeah, thanks for your generous sharing. Yeah, was there any questions from the audience? Yeah, we actually have one
Hi.
question. There is. Yeah, please go
Okay.
on.
Hi,
Yeah, yeah.
Alice.
Hey.
Nice to meet you. I'm Pedro. I'm from Brazil
Oh,
here.
hi.
And yeah, you're talking about COP30 in Brazil and all the challenges that we have to tackle there. And would like to ask you because I wasn't in Baku this year because I skipped and changed jobs, so I
Yeah.
couldn't attend it to. But we are all concerned here in Brazil about the absence of the number from the financial you see the financial
Yeah.
goals, and that's very harsh to us because we fought so hard during the Paris Agreement from now to get about the South, global South countries to those numbers and to those money. And we really depends on it because in 2023 and this year we have a lot of extreme climate events and I know I want to hear you that was there and about the expectations and we'll see by your side we see that worst and a bad deal is worse than no deal and I would like to hear it from you.
Yeah. So to be honest, right now the funding is completely way below than needed in a scientific way or in a normal way of calculations. Plus, with the first draft that came out of the NCQG yesterday, it is completely very bad for developing countries, especially. Currently, from what I could see, is that developed countries just do not want to continue fund, and they wanted to pull in China or other countries to become like Singapore, like to become developed countries. That's why they're trying to have this NCQG opening that more and more more and more countries to join, putting in more calculations into the total funding, which they've diverted the idea that this in the Paris Agreement was decided that developed countries has the needs and was decided that they have to support this initiative, the agreement, and to pay, but they're not. The past whatever years, the 1,000 I don't know what was that number. So that number per year was not achieved. Only achieved was last year and this year, and we don't know if it's gonna achieve next year. What I've seen currently are a few barriers. So first is that because well, I didn't want to be political because I'm not in this world, but because of Trump is currently going to be the next president. So one of the very scared in Baku is that they wasn't sure if he's going to quit from Paris Agreement. So there was uncertainty about if America quit again, Europe would be mainly needed to pay most of the funds as they were only the developed countries, as it was decided back in 1982, I think. So because of these data and issues, they wanted to expand the whole pool of funds calculated. They wanted just more people, NGOs, IGOs, or other things to put in the money, like bank money, to be accumulated to their number. But this is definitely a very important thing that it should not happen. If there are self-developments among other countries, if other countries are paying, that should not be calculated to the original decided 2,500 yi. So among that, I think they are working their best. I think there would be more funds going in general as a big picture, but I still think it will be not enough in general. So for Brazil, actually, you could share more on what would be happening there because what I've heard, what my personal experience right now with Azerbaijan was we were told super last minute we could live at this athletic village. So we were booked at like a old town hotel, but they never gave us a confirmation if we were able to have like separate beds because our students are sharing a room. So at the last minute, we received official email from UNFCCC that, oh, this now athletic village is now available. There was a few accommodation available like 3 weeks before the COP, which is abnormal. Like you never do that. But okay, so we changed. We moved to closer and official location. But let's be honest, the environment it's big. The room is great. There were enough bathrooms inside the room, but it was full of new built paint smell. It was very unhealthy. A large group of us got very sick by the fourth, fifth day. I wasn't sure is it because of me being too tired or it was any reason with the house, but I moved out after a while. So hopefully I just hope that this won't happen in Balam. Um, I heard things are still building, so hopefully things will be built and finished as soon as possible. And hopefully there are enough accommodation prepared because what we were told is all the hotels are fully booked. There's still a huge amount of people not booking where they're staying. We're pretty certain, like for example, I represent the Tsinghua University, I represent this alliance. I'm pretty much sure I would be going next year as long as I'm still in this role. And a lot of our students will be going. So there are things that we're bringing in, and we have a lot of hands-on projects that we are doing already, and we would love to share it at COP and share it with our colleagues and friends in the international organizations. Any other questions? I see that someone raised their hands.
So we're running out of time, so maybe we'll skip the questions for now. Yeah, sorry
Okay.
about that.
Amazing.
Yeah, and yeah, we can always discuss later. Yeah, yeah.
Another question, I
Um,
just to comment some few words. Maybe you know, Alice, thank you for the invitation. My name is Kayal. I am from Azerbaijan. At the moment, I am here to, how to say, on the road back to the home. But I want to share some specific words. I understand that logistical challenges can sometimes draw attention, specifically for the events of the big scale. Finding housing during COP29 was a challenge, largely because so many people recognized the importance of this event and planned their visits well in advance. And it really highlights the incredible global interest in adding the climate change and Azerbaijan's role as a key host. So, but for the next period, I think maybe if you have such a challenge, maybe you can address to the organizing team. They can help you in order to solve this challenge that you experienced during your stay. But overall, I think the course was one of the successful events that Azerbaijan hosted and brought significant attention to youth empowerment. I would like to highlight some keywords on youth side because I'm also working with so many young people and, delivering some trainings for them. And I think the event emphasized integration of youth into the climate policies and solutions, fostering a generation environmentally conscious leaders. And thank you so much for this invitation, and thank you so much for giving the floor for me, at least to share also my opinions, being one of the active participants of the COP. I just want to share some of my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Amazing. So just a little bit last words on that. That actually, to be honest, Azerbaijan did a great job on the actual implementation of the event. One of the best out of the three I've been to. So it was great. There were so many youth. There's super large number of volunteers on there, but of course, logistic problem happens every year, so that's not a big thing. I was just trying to give some information for people who didn't go, if there are things that they should be aware of. But that's it. It was a very good COP in logistic wise. There were food, there was water, it was great, there was internet. We had a pavilion in the green zone. It was great. People were there. A lot of youth were there. A lot of local actually visited and came. A lot of things that I could share also, that in the future, if you guys are going, making sure the language barriers is something to prepare. So, for example, I'm a researcher, so we did a survey there. One of the limitation was that I only prepared an English survey, and I realized that I should have maybe prepared a few more languages for people to do as well. So there's a lot of small bits and pieces, that things that as an organizer or as an attendee, we could think better. And just wanted to share this information. But out of all, Azerbaijan was great. In the actual event, like the rooms, the stage and all that were okay. Small problems, but not big enough to be a worry. But the accommodation part was a worry, because it was impacting a whole village of people, so a few thousand at least. But yeah, back to the floor to the host.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.